You're listening to Radio St Helier.
Radio St Helier.
Music to your ears.
Sweet dreams of me. Now I've come back again.
Welcome to My Mixtape. It's very weird coming to this show and not doing the show before, but there we go. It's what it is. Thank you, Carolina, for the last hour and a half because you were late, but we won't talk about that. That was kind of my fault. We were at an event. Anyway, today on Mixtape, I welcome Neal and I welcome Kieran, and they're here to talk about two things. Well, it kind of connected. Carshalton Artists and the Carshalton Festival, which are kind of intrinsically linked together. And they're going to talk all about the events and what Carshalton Artists do, which is an amazing thing, and the amazing thing that is the Carshalton Festival. And Cry Folk as well. We're going to talk about it a little bit, aren't we?
Yep.
Awesome. Welcome to My Mixtape. It's great to have you with us. Before we get into the festival, we're going to find out a little bit more about you guys, your journey, and maybe some of the music that shaped you a little bit.
Okay.
Shall we start with a song?
Yeah, go on then. Yeah.
What should we start with?
What should we start with?
I was thinking The Cure.
Go on then. Let's do that. Yeah.
Why this song?
The Cure have been part of my life, all my life really. It was why I got into music really. My first gig was The Cure. Back in 1986.
Where was that?
That would have been Wembley Arena, and that was on the Kiss Me tour.
Because I saw them in the 80s at Crystal Palace Park.
Oh wow!
I know.
Well, they played Carshalton, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so and this song is obviously a favourite for everybody, and I just thought it'd be a nice song for especially for Radio St Helier. So yeah.
The end of that song, I'm just waiting for them to launch into something else.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, it's always been a favourite song of mine, and when I was younger, it made me feel included for the first time in my life. So
it's crazy how music was like that back then. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not so much anymore. I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Talking about growing up, what were you like growing up, Neal?
A nightmare. No, I was always slightly different to everybody else. And I realised in later life, after being sort of undiagnosed ADHD and now being diagnosed ADHD, I realised now that I was definitely quite different. I was always creative, always very, very creative. So I went into the creative industries very early, did my degree, then went straight into media and TV, did that for 10 years. And then after that, both myself and my wife decided to set up Carshalton Artists and start becoming artists. So that's kind of my creative journey. So yeah.
So you were literally that kid that was rubbish at everything else, but quite good at performing.
Yeah. Basically,
acting up, they call it.
Yeah, acting up, talking too much, drawing lots, and athletics, and that was it. That was me.
So what about you? What were you like as a kid?
Funny, quite a lot of parallels. I was either sent to play music or sent out in the garden to kick a ball against the wall.
You're a musician then?
Yeah, I'm a musician. I learnt music, studied music, but didn't study at university and fell out of love with music for quite a long time.
It's something that happened. I found it the same because I played piano when I was a kid. And then when I got to the age where I realised that you couldn't impress a girl with a piano, I learnt the guitar. But then by the time I got to sort of 18, 19, I kind of... it felt like it stalled a little bit, and I kind of lost my love for it until I got back into sort of mid-20s, early 30s.
I think my wife would probably say that she fell in love with me because of my piano. At least that's what I think, anyway.
That's what she tells you.
Yeah.
So was there a moment for either of you when you realised that creativity and community were going to play a big part in your life?
We're both teachers, and I'm a primary school teacher, so to me, being creative is the key to teaching, unlocking 30 different brains in a classroom. Every lesson is different. I love finding a child and problem solving. Every child gives me that opportunity. So even though I teach in a big school with similar classes, actually every lesson I teach is different, and I love that part of deciding what I'm going to teach and then having to make stuff up as I go along to kind of...
And because when you've got 30 different minds that learn in 30 different ways, you suppose you have to be really creative to try and work out how to unlock them.
And understanding neurodivergence as well. Obviously in the present climate of school, where we just found out that, 1 in 5 of our kids, or probably more, I've got that wrong, haven't I? It's a lot more than 1 in 5 of our kids are neurodivergent.
Yeah.
I don't know a neurotypical creative person.
No, we're not, apparently. I've been told several times over the years that there's something wrong with me. I like to think I'm different, more evolved, maybe. What about yourself? Because you and your wife moved to Carshalton, didn't you? And then
we moved to Carshalton. We basically fell asleep on a night bus. Woke up and there was lots of swans and a nice pond. We're like,
so you do sleep occasionally then?
We do sleep occasionally, yeah. And it was like, what the hell is this? This is quite a nice place. So we moved to Carshalton, and both of us immedly found...
You went home first, I'm assuming.
We went home first. We went home first and decided we'd move here. And we were both working in the media industry. And then just dabbling away at art. And then we decided, you know what, actually, we want to do our art. So we did our art in our spare time. Started meeting artists in Carshalton. We never really met other artists outside of our media circles. And then we suddenly thought, actually, this is a really cool place, and there's lots of arty people. So we immediately said, look, why don't we just go down the pub for a drink? And we started realising there was a massive call for it, because artists naturally are quite shy, retiring people. Yeah,
I get that from you.
Yeah, exactly. We might be outlandish when you get to know us, but we're first off, we're quite reticent, I suppose, to sort of really promote ourselves. So that's how it started. Carshalton Artists started with just a few of us down the pubs. It was myself, Neal Vaughan, Abel Kestevan, John Stillman, and that was kind of it. And then we were really supported by people like Jane Howard in Sutton Council, and that was them that sort of said, why don't you start exhibiting more? So we did that, And then the Open Studios came from that, really. It was really a conversation down the pub, the Hope, with Paul and Terry. Or Terry and Paul, whichever way you want to go. And they said, you know so many artists, Neal. Why don't you think about doing an Open Studios? And that's where it all came about, really.
So you've obviously been involved bringing people together through creativity for some time now.
Yeah.
Where does that passion come from?
Do you know, I really don't know. I suppose we've always wanted to be part of a community. I think sometimes, I don't know about Kieran, but myself, I always felt like I was a loner. I was outside, and I realised, really, in my 30s and 40s, I wanted to be part of something that I was missing in my life. And Helena was exactly the same. And as soon as we started being part of this wider community, we said, not only do we want to be part of a community of artists, we want to be part of a community of people. And that's what Carshalton really brought to us. It was suddenly like, wow, there's this community that are desperate to see stuff. They want to be inspired by artists. And so really that was the drive. It was basically within us going, do you know, we've always been outsiders. So let's try and get other people that are outsiders together.
One thing I will say about this borough, it seems to me to be very unique in terms of the community feel here. There's more charities, there's more community groups, there's more of everything here that you don't see certainly anywhere else in London. Which is, this is the sort of, you'd expect to see this in Camden, but you just don't get it. It's here and here alone.
Yeah. I think maybe we're looking about 10 years ago, Carshalton was still one of the more affordable parts of London. If you were a musician or an artist, but you wanted to settle down, have a family, and you wanted to stop paying rent and crippling rents in central London, you had to find somewhere. Obviously, there were certain places in outer London that were becoming more gentrified. Carshalton's never had that. It's raw, rough, ready, honest, open, and inclusive, mostly. So it was definitely a place that inadvertently I think a lot of creative people gravitated to.
It is insane. I mean, look, when I started doing this show, started getting a lot of musicians coming in through collab with the Sound Lounge. How many of them actually? I've got in touch with them. I've gone, I live around the corner. I've been waiting ages to get you in. There was I don't know if you know Hannah Scott. For 18 months, I was like, right, when she's next at the Sound Lounge, I'm going to get her in here, only to find out she lives literally 5 minutes away.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And when people talk about Carshalton and Sutton and the borough itself, I mean, they are genuinely surprised that, and I think it is, as what Kieran said, we just feel welcome here. We feel happy here. And I think that's what drives us and brings us to the borough.
I think as well, what we've got here is a great balance of city and countryside that I don't think you can get outside Middlesex, I suppose, is probably the closest we got to it. Now, is there someone who particularly inspired you, art-wise, to get you into that kind of...
Wow. Lots, but do you know what? I'm going to... Recently, the most inspiring person has probably been David Hotney. And so I was actually genuinely upset yesterday when I found out the news that Hotney had passed away. Because my creative journey recently really was painting. And then myself and Abel were going out drawing more and more. And then I went to this exhibition. And it is one of those exhibitions that change your life. And it was the bigger picture, and there was a lovely documentary with Alan Yentop about David and his coming back to Yorkshire and drawing plein air in Yorkshire. And just at the time, I was starting to draw more and more outside. And plein air basically is a term that basically that you're drawing outside or plein air. So I started doing more and more charcoals, and so I think that transition from being a studio artist into an artist that wants to go out into the community and just draw. David Hotney, definitely.
What about yourself?
It's really hard to put a single name to it, and it's probably going to sound really cheesy, but as a teacher I get exposed to a lot of really funky brains. And when I see, I'm thinking of a child I teach at the moment, a 10-year-old boy who is just such a phenomenal drummer. And I think if I can be Freddie, if I can take part of that and take that confidence these kids have, because they're not worn down, they're really honest, but they're also really positive. So it's not a named person. I mean, my family's from Ireland. I could cite the Dubliners as a folk thing. That's big in my DNA. But actually, what drives me and what really enthuses me are the kids I teach. That sounds really cheesy.
It does sound really cheesy. Shall we turn off now?
I mean, does it keep us fresh as creatives?
Of course
as
it
well?
does. Absolutely.
I think it does.
Yeah.
I think definitely. What do you think creativity gives people that nothing else can?
Wow. I suppose. I mean, for me, that is definitely a college-based question. I've never, in my last sort of 13 years at Carshalton Sixth Form College, had so many fun times, so many sad times, and the one thing that brings that all together is the love of creativity. There was one thing that, and I'm probably crying now, after COVID, we came back into the studios at college, and it was when we first came back, would that have been June, probably? And obviously they had to hand in their work for the exam component. And one of them ran down the corridor in absolute floods of tears and said, "I've been waiting for this moment since the college closed. You are my life, you are my soul." And oh God, I'm going to go. And it's students like that, that their whole life is based around being expressive. They want to express themselves, and we are giving them that inclusion, that inclusive space to express themselves.
I think as a teacher, you'll probably recognise this, and this is something that I think I've noticed. I think schools in general tend to shy away from the more creative ways of thinking. It tends to be that a lot of the curriculum, particularly in high school, tends to be very focused on academia, and they don't take the creative kids and go, right, you can do your basic maths and English, let's nurture your creativity now. But it seems to kind of stifle it in a way. Do you think?
4 letters, STEM.
STEM.
Yeah.
Where does music fit into that? Where does art fit into that? I mean, for me, music, arts, they give kids agency.
Yeah.
They allow you to express yourself in a confident, different environment. But also, it teaches you a set of skills that actually these subjects won't teach you. So as a music graduate, you would have self-promotion, you'd have organisation, you'd have self-PR, you'd have team building, you'd have all these different things that if the CBI, if Board of Directors, if they can say, they want graduates from the arts, and if public schools recognise the arts, we are these advocates of the arts in state education, and we know that we're always fighting for our space.
I mean, it's changing slightly. I mean, recently, my youngest, who's at Oaks Park, he was told that he had to pick 2 academics and 1 creative for his choices. So I think there is a sea change, but it will take a long time.
But then, if you're an academic child, I get that. But I think by the age of 13, when you're picking exams to take, which could potentially shape the direction you're going in,
I think we also have to make use of the words academic and put that into the arts. We can't say children are either music or academic. Actually,
you could be both.
Music is academic.
Yeah.
You have to. It's across the board.
Okay, I'll accept that. To be fair, I'm not a teacher. I haven't got the patience for it. Fugazi. Let's talk about Fugazi.
Wow. So Fugazi are an incredible band, and we were talking about inclusion. They were probably the first band that I was so latched onto. It was a scene. We've been to see Nirvana, we've been to see Jane's Addiction, been to see lots of really cool bands like that. But this band just appeared, and they were so inclusive. They were part of a No Means No movement. All their records were about women's rights. They demanded that venues didn't sell alcohol. As soon as I heard them, and also technically, probably one of the greatest bands. Yeah.
You've really picked them up. They've got to be good now, haven't they?
They are very, very, very good.
You got me with the false one. Now, anyone that was paying attention, there was a bit of silence there, and you have no idea how dangerous that is when you're on the radio. And they planned this. They absolutely planned it.
Yeah, we definitely planned it.
Right, who are Carshalton Artists?
So, Carshalton Artists are a collective of around about 150 to 200 artists. They come and go. We run community events. We run open studios. We run Christmas fairs. We also support artists with arty drinks. So we go out and talk together. We have like a rolling news item where people can talk about what they're doing. What we found is that as soon as we started doing it, artists were starting to talk to each other. And that helps with the council, because the council, when they say, you know, we've got this fund going, XXX, but we like artists to collaborate, it means that they've already got that base, they've got those people they can collaborate with. And also, in terms of the open studios, I mean, we started with, 10 years ago now, because it's our 10th year anniversary this year. We started with around about 30 artists across 15 odd locations. This year, in our 10th year, we're now 80 artists across 30 locations. And it grows and grows and grows. And what's the most important thing is the artists are becoming more and more professional. They are given opportunities to exhibit, which they never ever would. We're seeing artists that are giving up careers to become artists. So it's a really, really exciting project to be part of.
Because it obviously began a small group of creatives meeting quite informally, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At what point did you realise it was becoming something much bigger?
I think it was probably just before COVID, because that's when we basically we've always said, and we're different to other open studios, is that you have to live and work in the Carshalton area. That's a given. It has to be. And so basically, we started realising that we had to have a selection committee because we had so many people applying. And I think that's when we realised this ball is now rolling, and it will roll on and on.
It's fabulous. I mean, do you ever look back and go, wow, I never expected this?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, when Terry and Paul said in the Hope over a drink, do you want to do this? You know, we spoke to a couple of friends. This is before WhatsApp. This would be like on a messenger. Wow. We spoke to a couple of friends. I mean, suddenly we had 20 artists within a space of probably, a week wanting to do it. So, yeah, frightening.
So who gets involved? Is there any particular criteria, or is it any type of medium of art, from photography right through to...
It's every medium of art. So basically we've got photographers, we've got people that do installation work, we've got people that are graphic designers but want to exhibit their work. We've got illustrators, we've got ceramicists, we've got everybody. Every visual arts form is out there, really. And I mean, the most important thing is you have to live and work within Carshalton.
So what do you think being part of Carshalton Artists offers someone who is currently working alone creatively?
I think it gives them exposure and inclusion to a community of other artists. And that is unique. I mean, when I first started going down the Hope and meeting up with the Cry Folk people, I realised that ethos was very similar to Carshalton Artists, in that getting musicians out of just playing at home into pubs and into a community that accepts them.
Because that's one thing that I want to touch on is sort of live music venues. Now, I grew up in Croydon, and I remember, you could walk 15, 20 yards and go from one live band to another. I mean, now, if you want to see two live bands in two locations, you have to get a cab from the Sound Lounge to Croydon. It's crazy how that's changed.
Not with the festival, you know.
Not with the festival, but in general, I mean, there's not a lot going on here. It used to be you could walk and see 5 or 6 bands in a night for a few quid.
Got the Windsor Castle. That's astonishing. That's still going really strong. And any given Tuesday in Carshalton, there'll always be folk music down the Hope. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it is hot. We're going to come on to the Carshalton Festival in a minute. But your next song, Carter, the Unstoppable Sex Machine.
That's mine. Yeah. Again, weirdly, my first gig. Brixton Academy, I think it was 91. which it transpired that my wife was always also there, and I hadn't met her at that point, but we both realised we were at and they were insane gigs, I know. And that band has stuck with me. Moving to South London, and that's a bit, when you get the train and it goes through Tulse Hill, all those lyrics. And this song, I'm deeply political. I don't hide from that. And this talks about the housing crisis that's existed in London all the time.
Shall we talk the big event? Carshalton Festival. Now, for somebody who's never been before or hasn't heard about it, what's it all about?
Well, it's gathering as much of local arts, talent, beauty that we can find, celebrating what is Carshalton in the richest sense. We did it a few years ago, and it was hard. And we realised we needed to do it a little bit different this year. So we made a lot more of an effort to reach out harder to groups. So with the support of SACO, Southern African Caribbean Cultural Organisation, the Hong Kong community, various other groups that have existed for a while. We're obviously very lucky because we're deeply involved in music and the arts ourselves. So, and very much using Crier, the Crier arts as well. So Gaz from the Crier originally came up with the idea 4 years ago. We did it 4 years ago, and it was a success. We worked a lot with schools then. We'd like to do that more in the future. But we've got Arts Network Sutton involved. We've got Sutton Writers involved. We've got Chaos, Crier Folk. Neal's hopefully scrolling through a list of people that I might have missed out. My child is just graduating from Brit, and so running a fringe event on the Saturday. We've got some brilliant musicians, and it kind of comes together on the Friday night, personally, with a music crawl, where George Langham, who's Carshalton Stories, I'm sure you've heard of.
Yes.
He's a good friend. He's Drinks Down the Hope. He's done a map for us. So we've got, I really should know this, I think is it 9 venues across the weekend?
Yeah.
9 venues, starting at 5:30 on the Friday in the Windsor Castle, finishing technically at about 6 o'clock on a Sunday in the Hope, which is a piece of music I'm writing with a cellist friend, Liz Andrews, which is meditative. And between then and that, we've got music all over the place.
And that goes back to what you were saying about, back in the day about not being able to find music. You did then, but not now, and that was kind of the idea behind it, was to get all these community groups and all these groups together to say, look, commit to this 1 week, so then you can showcase yourself. The festival is an organisation; it's not for profit, same as Carshalton Artists, and it works with existing kind of people and groups to reach the widest audience possible.
Yeah, I mean, we one of the things that when we had to write our press release, the thing that I wanted to put in was very much obviously the inclusion-led philosophy. But there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of polarity at the moment, and the one thing I wrote is we choose hope, and we can celebrate Carshalton. We can make it a hopeful place. We can make it an optimistic place. We can calm the noise, and we can celebrate the nice, and that's what we want.
So it's kind of poignant. You end at the Hope as well.
Yeah.
Did you plan that, or was that
serendipity?
Serendipity, yeah.
Are there any particular highlights you're excited about?
I think the Nick Drake one really speaks to me. So that's the Sunday night. So this is a guy, Alex, who just plays Nick Drake tunes absolutely beautifully, and he's going to hate me because I've not chosen a Nick Drake song to actually play. But if there was, it would be Pink Moon. That and all the music. But I'm a big Chaos fan. I've been doing the Chaos trail for since it started, seeing how it grows, and I love the fact that we always come home bankrupt, but with some beautiful art.
Yeah, he's normally mine. I think I am looking forward to the documentary. That is going to be really good.
The Hong Kongers.
Yeah, the Hong Kongers have got a documentary which is sponsored by Durham University, a sociology department. And it's a really special thing. It's sponsored by them and the British Institute as well. And basically, it's called I'm
Fine.
I'm Fine. Thank you. And it's basically about people's experiences of coming to a new country and struggling with being part of that new community. And I've even decided to I won't be at Chaos on the Sunday for the first 2 hours, so I can go and watch this film.
And I've completely forgotten Cry Folk.
That's your event, mate.
That's what I organise on a monthly, every second Tuesday of the month. Cry of Folk, my God. We've got a specially curated event with Kimberly's Callum Baird, who's coming down from Scotland, Sarah Gibbons,
Nesbitt Gibbons.
And this brilliant band, if you're a fan of, what's that show, Del Boy?
Only Fools and Horses.
Thank you. Bain Marie. That's hurdy-gurdy, violin and box. John, Alex and Sam, they're phenomenal musicians. And we always finish Cry Folk with an impromptu session up on the stage as well.
I love that. How important do you think it is that many events are accessible to the whole community?
It's the essence of it.
Has to be.
It's the driving philosophy. The first festival, we made it free. And that was almost a non-negotiable when we started. When we talked to Gaz, like, yes, we want to do this, but it has to be free, because we were emerging in a cost of living crisis at the time. Obviously, things are even harder now than they were then. However, we have had to recognise that musicians and artists, they need to earn a living as well. So we're able to pay musicians through a variety of means, whether the pubs are stumping up money, whether ticket sales. That means the artists are investing in the process of marketing their own performances, but we're trying to keep the prices low as possible. So
most of the events are free, and we've tried to keep. There's only one event that's above £10, and what's been lovely is Crier Arts and Sutton Council really bought into this. So,
and Il Laghetto.
Yeah, Il Laghetto. What's been great is these cultural institutions saying, no, we'll give you reduced rates, we'll do this. I'm not saying which ones will give us reduced rates, because that'd be unfair, but basically it's been amazing response from the creative community to really help us to get this over the line.
What's your favourite thing about seeing the festival come alive?
The last hour.
The hangover. It's from the previous one. Actually, do you know what? There's a lot of love at the end, and it's probably hugging Baldy.
Yeah.
Graham, bless him. It's the friends. It's that massive effort that we put in, and then it's worth it. And the people that come up to you afterwards and say, I didn't know about this, or thank you for this, I didn't realise there was so much going on. We just had a chat with a fella in a shop coming up here who's just had a baby, and he wanted to know what was happening now in the future. And it's about those micro conversations you have with everybody, and it just builds.
I absolutely love it. Now, your next song, New Order.
Oh, yeah, that's me, yeah. So, I was a big New Order fan. I was going to choose Blue Monday, but that's too obvious. And I was worried about what version you played, because I like the original. I really hate with a passion the redone one that was on Substance. I've seen them live in Manchester. That was very special with a friend Kieran. But when they changed from Joy Division to New Order, there was a sweet spot where a lot of the stuff was still had Curtis's kind of writing in there, and this particular track, Ceremony, as is written by Curtis. So yeah.
So for anyone listening, thinking, I really want to be part of this festival, how do they become part of the festival?
Look us up on carshaltonfestival.com and on socials. Come along. That's the most important thing. We met a few people from the festival 4 years ago who are involved now, and we can only commit to doing this annually if we know people want to do things. So we're quite approachable, even though we're dressed the way we are.
Obviously you can't see how they're dressed, but they arrived today. One dressed like a harlequin and one is a bearded lady.
Yes, and you know, the timetable, everything we've got is online. But we're also, I mean, you know, as a point of reference, contacts, the two record shops in Carshalton are fantastic. So that's Logo Fiasco and Looking for the Magic. And Danny and Richard, phenomenal people. They're involved in the festival. They're hosting, they're promoting, they're selling tickets, they're doing everything they can for the festival. So they're open year round. We're in the Hope most Tuesdays running a folk session. So, you know, if people feel they want to get involved but they miss something, they can. But we do recognise also that actually fronting up, you know, walking up to somebody and just introducing yourself isn't easy for a lot of people.
No.
Which is why social media is out there. Please do support us.
So are there any budding artists that kind of haven't made that push and they're thinking about kind of getting more involved in art? What would you say to them?
Come to Artie Drinks, definitely. And if you can't come to Artie Drinks because you're too young or you don't go to pubs, then just contact us. We have regular meetups. We've got a drawing meetup during the festival.
Young Chaos.
Yeah, and we've got Teen Chaos. Well done, Teen Chaos. One of our major supporters is the Corner Gallery in Carshalton Beaches, and Jackie Khan has always been promoting young artists. So if you want to get involved, just contact us on carshaltonartists@gmail.com.
Now, the arts can sometimes feel like they belong behind gallery doors. How important is it to take creativity out into the community?
Massively. I mean, it's been the drive. It's been the drive of my life for the last 10, 15 years. If I want to leave a legacy, whatever, it's that. Whether I work at Carshalton College, whether I'm with Carshalton Artists, whether I'm with Crier Folk, it has always been about getting the arts out to the community.
So the festival, where do you see the festival going in the future? What's the big picture?
Oh, is there a big picture? Zakia Sul would be nice. So her book, I'd love to see Zakia Sul come along to Carshalton Festival. That's just a bit of a fanboy. It's going to reflect the community. So how Carshalton community changes, it's going to change in a positive way. We need to keep up with that. But definitely my drive is to include more young people for next year's festival.
I think it's a massive thing. I mean, something we've recently done, I'm trying to get funding for at the moment, is call it Radio St Helier Takeover. So I took our outside broadcast kit down to Unity Junction last Friday of the month, and just let the kids do the show. I was just there to make sure they didn't break anything, and the kids for 2 hours did a brilliant radio show, and I was very surprised at the music selection.
There you go. So that's the future of Carshalton.
Let's
Festival.
have St Helier at Carshalton Festival.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've just booked yourself. For
Thank you very much.
Absolutely,
you heard it here.
We've got the kit. We should be doing all of them.
Amazing. Let's do it.
There are lots of people out there that haven't booked us, and why is the question. Any new ideas or projects you'd love to bring to life?
Oh, there's always ideas. Some of them kind of die quite quickly. I mean,
should we say machines?
Machines of Loving Grace. Yeah, we haven't mentioned them.
Yeah.
So we're part of an electronica collective. Did I say that right? It sounded a bit.
Yeah.
Electronica collective, where Neal provides the visuals, myself and 4 or 5 other people provide electronica. We've done gigs in All Saints Church, in the Crier, in Vellum Gallery. We really want to do an outdoor gig. And so that's the Cellectronique on the Sunday is my ambient meditation work with Liz Andrews on cello. It'd be great to have more electronica. One of the things was the EMOM, electronic music open mics. So Sutton Music used to run a DJing course for kids, neurodivergent kids. So
and it's getting all those cogs of the creative
Yep.
community together.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not about the visual arts, it's not about the music, it's about everybody. You know, one of our gigs, we had someone dancing on stage. There was a film of her dancing behind her, dancing on stage, plus the music itself.
and a breakdancing priest.
And a breakdancing priest.
Breakdancing priest.
Yeah.
You had me at that. What do you think it is about this area that inspires people?
I think you've nailed it, actually, being urban and country. Carshalton's a gorgeous place.
Yeah.
You know, I've got memories of all year round the same tree and how it changes. You've
Yeah.
got obviously the built environment, the water tower, the ponds, everything around there. But then you move out and actually everything's got its charm and it's honest most of the time. You know, there is an earthy honesty. Carshalton's not changed massively structurally, and in that sense it's retained some essence.
I agree with that. How do we get in touch with Carshalton Artists? Last chance to plug it.
So Carshalton Artists is carshaltonartists@gmail.com. We've got an amazing committee, unbelievable committee that are dedicated to answering any questions you've got. You can volunteer if you want, and you can reach myself or Kieran through that. Carshalton Festival is again at gmail.com, and both websites. The Carshalton Festival website currently is not being massively inclusive because it doesn't seem to like Windows on laptops.
Nobody likes Windows.
Exactly. So do it on your phone. Definitely Carshalton Artists at gmail.com.
Thank you guys for coming in. It's been brilliant hearing about your journey. Carshalton Artists, everything happening at the festival, really genuinely.
2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time, absolutely. For anyone listening, get involved, go along, support local creativity, discover something new. Your final song, Skylarking.
Whoa, that's mine. There we go. Oh, Horace Andy. I mean, saw him at the festival hall a few years ago. Absolutely love him. Loved his music from listening to Massive Attack before that. And this is, I mean, it's a criticism of young people, ultimately. Skylarking is stop wasting time begging. But actually, there's a room for skylarking, which is also wasting time. And your best ideas sometimes come when you're doing absolutely nothing. And, you know, it's a tune.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers.
Begging you a 5 cent, sir. Begging you a 10 cent, sir. Cannot